Hello, my name is Cam. Welcome back to the channel. If you watched my videos before, thank you. And if you're watching this now, thank you again. Now, I wanted to talk about two things today. The Suicide Squad movie that came out, this year, and the Suicide Squad movie that came out, a few years back. I'm going to be comparing them in a little bit, and I'm going to be really just talking about how much of an improvement this new one is. I won't be going over specific details, but I will be going over specific details. Don't worry about the details, just worry about what I'm saying, okay? Okay, let's begin. When it comes to talking about this movie, I didn't know exactly where to start from because there's so many things that I loved and enjoyed about the movie. I'd like to first state that the original Suicide Squad movie, I enjoyed. Not as much as I enjoyed this one, but I found it quite fun and I found it quite entertaining to just watch as a movie. Now, if we look at it on more of a different level, if we're like really critiquing it, there's a lot of problems with the movie and it felt really basic, especially, sky beams and stuff. But besides that, the first thing I wanted to talk about in this movie was about the music, because one of the things that both of the Suicide Squad movies did right was music. They had good use of music, and with this good use of music, you can recognize a lot of the songs, or you might not recognize a lot of the songs. And I think one of the best things about using music in movies is when you can't recognize a song, when this is a song you haven't heard in a very long time or isn't as popular. When looking at the original Suicide Squad movie, we found and heard a lot of the same songs, but when looking at this movie, when looking at the Suicide Squad movie that came out this year, there's a lot of songs I've never heard, which made those songs so special and so greatly used. Whenever I heard that song, I was just like, bam, that's a hit in my head. It's stuck in my head. And with a song stuck in your head from a movie, the scene sticks in your head too. So that's two things sticking in your head at once. That's what makes a movie memorable. Suicide Squad, the first one, didn't do that. I don't remember any scenes from that movie except
You're late.
This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
yeah, that scene is memorable, one, because of honest trailers, and two, because it's just a funny scene, in my opinion, when it's not trying to be funny. That's a problem. A funny scene like that shouldn't be remembered if it's not trying to be funny. And none of the scenes that included music was remembered by me for the same reason a lot of the movie wasn't remembered by me. It just had nothing that stuck out, nothing that was different, nothing that was new, in my opinion. There's a lot of good songs in the soundtrack, but the soundtrack on this new Suicide Squad movie was just A1. It was perfection. It's what you would want in a movie. It's something new, and that's what I want from my movie. I want something new. I want to discover something new about my characters, about the world, something new. That's what I think this new Suicide Squad movie did right, for one. But there's a lot more to talk about. So, come on, I'm gonna keep talking. I don't know if I mentioned what scene I'm talking about as an example for remembering a scene from a song. But the example I'm talking about, aka spoilers right now, but when everyone dies. That scene was impactful, to say the least. That scene was very impactful to me, and I felt it was done really great, honestly. But also, the music that played after everything that happened, and we switched to the other side of the beach, was perfect. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal, bro. When I say I enjoyed it a lot, I enjoyed it a lot because the song had me laughing throughout it, but also it had me remember this scene for a while. It's been over 2 weeks or over a week since I've seen the movie, and I still remember that scene like the back of my hand or the back of my head, or like an Arizona bottle. I don't know, but I still remember the scene, and that's what a good scene is. That's what a good introduction can do. It can stick in your head throughout the whole movie, and that's what I'm so proud that the movie did. Now, if I go back and watch the original Suicide Squad movie, there won't be any scenes like that. There won't be any scenes that I remember vividly. I don't have any fond memories of the movie. It's not a bad movie. I enjoy the movie, but I don't have any fond memories of the movie.
Anyhow, let us move forward and move along to the next part I wanted to talk about.
Next, I wanted to move to the characters. Morely about the improvement of the characters. As I said before, the improvement. I'm gonna mostly talk about the improvement of the movie. But let's talk about the characters that are here from both movies, aka Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and Rick Flag. One, Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie is killing it as Harley Quinn. Couldn't be better. I love her, love her, love her. She's hot, she's gorgeous, she's everything a movie needs. Then we have Captain Boomerang, which he's as good as he could be in the first 10 minutes he's in the movie. You know, he dies, which I was surprised by, because I was like, oh, one of the star characters of the movie died. Crazy, right? And lastly, we got Rick Flag. Rick Flag, goated. He is straight goated. Can't be beat, even though he is beat. You know what I'm saying? I love him in both movies. Those three characters that make a reappearance in this movie really did a phenomenal job, both in the last movie and in this movie, and I enjoyed them a lot. But if we're gonna talk about more characters, we have to talk about Bloodsport, comparing him to Deadshot. Bloodsport and Deadshot basically have the same plot. They have a daughter and they don't want their daughter to get in trouble and blah blah blah. Didn't really find their outside character stuff interesting, because it's practically the same thing. This is where it gets interesting for the rest of the characters. King Shark, he's a fun character. He's something like Killer Croc, but not really. Killer Croc had intelligence, whereas King Shark clearly does not, which made him the most lovable character in the movie, only comparable to Weasel. Because Weasel, I love that man, even though he ate 27 children. Then we have Peacemaker. Peacemaker, relating to anyone else, I can't really think of anyone. I barely remember the other Suicide Squad. But Peacemaker, awesome character. I love him in Bloodsport's competitiveness. Couldn't think of any other words, but him and Bloodsport's competitiveness makes them a very fun duo to work with and to see on screen. Peacemaker is also very brutal. Then we have Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher. We're gonna talk about Polka Dot Man as he's depressed, like me. I'm not depressed, but he's a depressed boy in this movie, which ain't too bad. And lastly, Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher, as bad as Margot Robbie. That's all I gotta say. She's as good looking as Margot Robbie, and I simp for her. But as a character, she's really cool. I loved her character arc that she had with Bloodsport, and I thought just the chemistry the whole team had together was one of the most fun things to watch. Whereas the last Suicide Squad movie, yeah, they had chemistry, they had their slow moments, but didn't feel like they were getting closer at all, or it didn't feel like they were becoming friends in a way. And maybe that's not what they were going for, but in this movie, they were going for them to become more friends or more of a group. As Harley, Bloodsport, Ratcatcher, all of them have a character arc together. King Shark has a character arc with them early in the movie, and I loved it. It's sad to see that so many cool heroes died, but it's whatever. I enjoyed the characters, and I think the characters is what really carried this movie. The characters is the funnest part about this movie, as when we get to the plot, I think the plot devolves into the same problem the original Suicide Squad movie had, which I'll talk about in a minute. Let me just get the clips ready. When it comes down to it, I found this movie's plot to just be adequate, good enough. It wasn't anything amazing, it wasn't anything outstanding, it wasn't anything that made me cry, it wasn't anything that's gonna be a tearjerker, it's not anything that's gonna be phenomenal, but it's good enough. Is it better than last movie's plot? I think so. I think this movie's plot was pretty well done, but I think it was really well when it came to the overall movie. When watching the whole movie, I found the plot to be really interesting. I found everything that was happening really interesting. And I found the world, characters, villains to be okay enough. Kind of basic, honestly. The villains seem to be always basic in these movies. And that's one of the most disappointing parts. That's a lot of the disappointing parts about watching so many superhero movies. The villains tend to either be really cool or just whack, to be honest. Really basic, very cliche-like. And that's what this movie falls into. It's basically about a rebellion, and I'm sure if you watch the movie you know. But it's a rebellion and stopping Stardew, whatever his name is. But I didn't really like a lot of it, because when it came to the final act of the movie, it felt like it just became another superhero flick. You fight a giant monster and whatever. Yeah, the boy Polka Dot Man died, but that's really it. I just found the ending to be really disappointing considering everything that has happened in the movie, because it just became another superhero flick. And I understand it couldn't be stopped. It's a superhero movie. I'm just saying, I was disappointed by the plot. It became basically the same thing as the last movie, and it's okay. It's alright. The plot's basically okay. It's better than the last movie, but it's not that much of an improvement, in my opinion. Now, I think there's one more thing I want to talk about, but I'm not sure. I'll let you know in like 2 seconds. It seems to turn out that I had nothing else to really talk about. So, I'm gonna basically end this video and catch you on the flip side. I might be talking about the What If series of Marvel next, or I don't know, some other comic book or anime something. It's gonna be something nerdy, so look out for that. Maybe I'll talk about Tenet. I don't know. It's gonna be something really nerdy or something really weebish. Whatever way it goes, I'm gonna talk about it. See you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed the content. Leave a like if you did, subscribe, and peace.